Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to do an art study of one of my favorite Gothic artists, Abigail Larson. If you're not familiar with Abigail's work, definitely give her a look. Her artwork is incredibly delicate and Gothic, and I really love the soft block print almost look to her work. This particular challenge was started because my viewers on Twitch and some of my patrons on Patreon voted that I should expand my art style, do some practice, get a little bit better at my own artwork, which I thought was a great idea. So I had them vote on a character, whichever character of mine that they thought would be a good subject for this particular art challenge, and everyone chose Rolo von Altis from my Brady von Altis books. In this particular video, I began my art study by sketching out my pose and also doing the line art, so that's mostly what will be covered in this video today. Rolo is a poltergeist and Brady's uncle in the books. He's a troublemaker who used to be in the Russian mob in the 80s, but he's incredibly loyal to his family and will do anything for them. Even though he can be a bit of a jerk at times, he learns a lot of hard lessons throughout the series and becomes a force to be reckoned with, really. Now, Abigail Larson's work is amazing, but it's quite different from my own style. The hardest part for me at this point while I was working on this sketch was trying to stylize my anatomy to match hers, especially in the face, because the clothes were kind of whatever. That was pretty easy. I focused a lot on adding way more wrinkles than I normally do. I recognize Abigail likes to include a lot of wrinkles in her work, which is very cool, but the face was tough. I hardened out my chin pretty intensely. I drew in lips, which I don't normally do, and also I drew the eyes in more of her style rather than mine, and it resulted in a really unique looking piece of artwork. But it was tough. I definitely had a tough time. Right now I'm using the Kyle Webster mechanical pencil sketch brush. This is pretty much what I use to sketch all of my stuff, just in general. It's really pretty straightforward, but I know everybody sketches with whatever they like. You sketch with what you like. Everybody can do whatever they want. That's what's great about art. But except for this one, I can't do what I want because it was an art study. It was torture, but it was fun. It was fun. Rolo is such a character. He's the main character, Brady's uncle, right? And as a poltergeist, he just gets into so much trouble. That's like 99% of his character. He's definitely like the spoiled baby of the family, of the older von Altises, and so he felt like he just got ignored because, you know, Liz is the oldest, gets a lot of the attention, and then his brother Boris was very special, so he got a lot of attention, and so by the time anything was left for Rolo, I think he felt like he just was getting ignored, which is really sad and not great. So because of that, he decided that he was going to act out and that he was going to be as loud as possible and get as much attention as he possibly could. And at the start of the Brady von Altis book series, even his own siblings don't really trust him because he ran off to Russia. He joined the mob in the 80s. He mysteriously died. And so they treat him like a little kid, which is something that he struggles with throughout the books. To say he has a checkered past would be like a really nice way of putting it. Honestly, things were complicated in Russia in the 80s, and I do plan on writing a book about the Soviet Union in the 80s. Because it was wild. It was a wild time. But you know what? He's trying to turn his life around, and he wants to be taken seriously as an adult. He learns a lot of hard lessons throughout the series, and he's a good one. There's a reason that Rolo is everybody's favorite. So, absolutely love him to death. At around this point, look, you can see me struggling. I'm literally struggling with this brush. This was the worst. I was trying to match Abigail's brush quality. I typically use something that's really, really smooth. It's called Brush Beauty. It's the Kyle Webster brush, Brush Beauty. I like it a lot. It reminds me of drawing on very smooth plastic, and it's got a really unique feel to it. Abigail's work, on the other hand, has a very rough, like, I don't know, almost like calligraphy pen on cold press paper kind of a feel. So I had to try and pick a brush that matched that particular rag. It has like a really nice rag to it. The main problem with that is that I felt like the direction of my lines all of a sudden mattered way more than they normally do, and I felt like I had a lot less control. So some of the spots ended up looking kind of bleedy and chunky. It ended up working out in the end, but it was, I don't know, it was a struggle. It's starting to come together though. We've got in this composition Rolo himself. I want him to be looking through this like picture frame window, which was based off of one of the Abigail Larson pieces that I did see. She had a really nice vignette kind of picture frame composition on one of her pieces, and I thought that that was pretty fantastic, so I figured I would do the same thing. And then also I included what I would call his ectoplasm goobies. Rolo's got ectoplasm around him all the time. And normally he can pull off looking human pretty well, but when he gets angry or upset, that disguise fails a little bit. And that's how you know the ghost stuff's gonna start to happen, when all the goobies show up. I think I would definitely do a challenge like this again though. Even though it was difficult, it's really important to continue to do new things as an artist so that way you can grow and learn. And if I learned anything from this, it was that first, I don't really like this brush. That was like the first thing that I learned, was I don't like that. And then secondly, it did help me practice clothing a lot. That was really neat. I also think too that this particular study helped encourage me to take more time on hair and on wrinkles, I think. I really liked it a lot. The end result I'm certainly very happy with, at least. Would I do another Abigail Larson study again in the future? Probably not. I recognize she has a pretty unique niche, and I do like the Gothic style artwork, but I think that her shading style is a little bit too flat for me, so maybe I'll be able to combine some of the elements that I liked from her work and mine in the future to create something really unique. But if we're being real though, the worst part about this illustration was his darn tattoos. Uncle Rolo was covered in tattoos. Some of them are mob tattoos from the 80s. Some of them he ended up, as the series progresses, getting later on his own body. I won't spoil too much, but he does have the ability to appear corporeal, so he can pretend to be alive. So that allows him to go and do a bunch of fun stuff around town, and people won't notice that he's dead unless they look really, really hard or have the proper equipment to do so. But these tattoos, they're a pain. And I can't just like make a little document that says, yeah, this is what these tattoos look like from this angle. Because if you have a unique angle like this where his bicep is flexed and it's up and you're seeing a little bit of the back of the arm, you gotta just go rogue. You gotta do it by hand. It's gonna take a long time. I'm probably never going to have another character like this that has this many tattoos because I wanted to light myself on fire. It was gross. If you're not familiar with the Brady Von Altus books, they're a 5-book series that you can buy on Amazon. I wrote them. I draw a lot of my original characters from my work. They have also received 5-star awards from Reader's Favor, which is really cool. I definitely never expected my books to, I don't know, get anything like that for them. It was wild. They've also been #1 on Amazon in their categories, so they were #1 bestsellers, which is very cool. They were written under my previous name, Cassidy, so if you're interested in purchasing those books or reading them, you can do so by following the link in the description below. I'll put that down there. I love these books to death. They're definitely one of the best projects I've ever worked on, and I love everything about the writing style, the characters, the universe, all of that. I'm imagining me crying doing these tattoos right now. I imagine that I shed a tear. A single tear. It was worth it in the end, though. I hope you enjoyed watching me work on this portion of the piece. I am excited to show you how it turned out and what the final shading looked like. I'm looking forward to sharing the next steps with you in a future video. So, if you liked the content, you want to see how this piece turned out in the end with the color and everything, definitely give me a like, a subscribe, and if you want to be notified when the next video goes live, go ahead and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss it. Thank you so much, and I hope I will see you next time.